Hello guys, I'm Daniel from Cashflow Sheets. Today I'm going to show you how to design a budget spreadsheet for your personal use. We will do this with Google Sheets so you can keep a record of your finances using the sheets and make the best financial decisions. It will help you to track your income, expenses and savings, and will help you organize your spendings and take full control of your money. Before we start, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. You can also download this sheet. The download link is in the description box below this video. Our final Google Sheet will look like this. It includes the month, date, description of entry, its category, income, expenses, and savings you had planned at the start of the month, and income, expenses, and savings you manage by the end of the month. At the end, you will get the running balance you had planned and the running balance you actually got at the end of the month. You will also be able to use visual representation of running balance using sparklines. You can also see other sheets at the bottom. These are here so that you can enter your expenses, income and savings in the separately, and they will be automatically added into the final sheet. These sheets also have these spark lines, so you can have a look at the difference between the included and the actual expenses, savings and income. Okay, now let's start designing our sheet. We'll go to Google Apps and select Sheets. You can then go and select the blank sheet. You can add headings of the month, date, description, category, planned income, planned expenses, actual expenses, planned savings, and actual savings. Now let's change the formatting of the sheets by selecting the columns and going to Format and then selecting alternative colors. You can select any colors you want out of these and click Done. To make the writing more visible, let's select the cells and make the writing bold and change the text color to white. Okay, let's also change the next wrapping to wrap. We can also change the width of columns by selecting the columns, pressing on the arrow at the corner and selecting resize column 8J. Let's keep the size, let's say 88. Let's change the name of the sheet to final and duplicate it 3 times. Click on this button here and select duplicate. Repeat it 2 more times and rename the new sheets to income, expenses, and savings. Let's also name the sheet Budget Spreadsheet. Add another sheet and name it Categories. In the category sheets, add a heading of expenses categories. Merge and center it with the next cell. In the next cell, enter income categories and savings categories. For the formatting, select the head cells and make them bold. Change the fill color according to the sheet theme we have been following. Change the text color to white. Then select the columns and click on this arrow and select resize columns. Let's keep the column width to 150 to make them better visible. In column B, start entering the categories from income, starting with the children's expenses. Enter allowance, schooling, medical, let's say clothing, toys, entertainment, and childcare. In column A, enter children and select the corresponding cells and merge them. Change its alignment to center align and middle align. The moving on the depth, enter credit cards, student loans, taxes, and other loans. In column A, enter debt. Moving to the entertainment, enter books, movie theater, music, TV, sports, outdoor activities, and other hobbies. Name it entertainment in column A. For medical expenses, enter doctor, pharmacy, medicine, and emergency. For home expenses, enter mortgage, furnishing, maintenance, loan, and other supplies. For daily expenses, enter grocery, restaurants, clothes, laundry, salon, and others. For insurance, enter car, home, medical, and life. For pets, enter food, wet, toys, and others. For transport expenses, enter, let's say, fuel, public transport, repairs or maintenance, and others. For utilities, enter mobile, internet, water, gas, electricity, and others. For other expenses, enter education, gifts, technology and travel. You can add any other related expenses in their corresponding rows. Moving on to income categories, you can add pay, tips, commission, bonus, gifts, and others. For the saving categories and saving accounts, checking account, money market account, and certificate of deposit. Next, we can select the columns, go to borders, select border style, select border color, and click on other borders. Repeat the steps for all columns. We can now move to income sheet. Select column B, press Ctrl and click on date heading to unselect it. Then go to more formats and select date. For the month entries, we will use the text function. Enter equal text, brackets open, select the cell with the date and enter something, the date in quotation marks, like MMMM. This will generate the full name of month. We will add an if-then statement to show a blank cell when there is no entry in the data cell. Drag the plus sign to the bottom cell to copy the formula to those cells. Select column D, press Ctrl and select the category heading to unselect it. From data, select data validation and click on select date range. Go to the category sheet and select the income categories. It will generate a drop-down menu from the income categories in the selected cells. In column K, add another heading by the name of the income difference. Subtract planned income from actual income to get the difference between them. Drag it down to copy the formula to other cells. The difference can also be visualized by adding spark lines for the total actual income and total planned income. Set the formatting of the cells. The value of the total actual income can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entries of column F starting from row 2. The value of the total planned income can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entries for column E starting from row 2. We can copy the formula for sparkline which allows you to create miniature charts with a single cell to rapidly provide an attractive visual representation of the data and trends. This formula will take the values of the total actual income and total planned income and give it the color based on its hex code. We will be using different colors for the both spark lines. We can enter some random entries from income like a paycheck for 1st January. Enter the date description. Select relevant category. Enter the value of income you had planned and the value of income you actually got from the source, for example, your paycheck. We will now add a couple of other incomes like New Year bonus and overtime and put in some dummy values. The difference between the incomes is displayed in the income difference column, and spark lines show visual representation of that difference. Select the columns E, F, and K and change their format to dollars. Also reduce the decimal places. Similarly, for this expenses sheet, we'll change the format for dates column to date. For the month column, we can just copy the formula from the income sheet into the first cell of expenses sheet and drag it down to the bottom cells to copy the formula. Select column D, press Ctrl and select the category heading to unselected. From data, select validation and click on select data range. Go to the categories sheet and select expenses category. It will generate a drop-down menu from the expenses categories in the selected cells. In the column K, add another heading by the name of expenses difference. Subtract actual expenses from the planned expenses and drag it down to copy the formula. This will give you the difference between both. This difference can also be visualized by adding spark lines for the total actual expenses and total planned expenses. Set the formatting of cells. The value of the total actual expenses can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entire entries of column H starting from row 2. The value of the total planned expenses can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entire entries from column G starting from row 2. We can copy the formula for spark lines, which takes the values of the total actual expenses and total planned expenses and give it to the color based on its hex code. We can enter some random entries for expenses like kids, allowance, school fee and college loan, etc. Enter the date, description, select relevant category, enter the value of expense you had planned and the value of expense you actually did. We can put in some dummy values for these expenses. The difference between the expenses is displayed in the expenses difference column, and spark lines show visual representation of that difference. Similarly, we can enter another expenses, let's say mortgage, and add some values for it as well. Other expenses can be monthly groceries, for example. Notice that as we enter the values, the different values and spark lines are updated on their own. Also, as we enter the date, the month gets updated automatically. For the saving sheet, we will change the format for the date column to date. For the month column, we can copy the formula in the first cell. and drag it down to the bottom cells. Select column D, press Ctrl and select the category heading to unselected. From data, select data validation and click on the select data range. Go to the categories sheets and select the saving categories. It will generate a drop-down menu for the saving categories in the selected cells. In column K, add another heading by the name of savings difference. Subtract planned savings from actual savings. This will give you the difference between both. The difference can be also visualized by adding spark lines for the total actual savings and total planned savings. Change the formatting of cells. The value of total actual savings can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entries of column J starting from row 2. The value of a total planned savings can be calculated using the sum formula, which adds all the entries of column L starting from row 2. The formula for sparkline can be copied from that expenses sheet. We can enter some random entries for savings like saving account and money market account, etc. Enter the date, description, select relevant category, enter the value of the saving you had planned and the value of saving that you actually managed. We can put in some dummy values for these savings. The difference between the savings is displayed in a saving difference column, and sparkline show visual representation of that difference. In a final sheet, add 2 more columns at the end by the name of planned running balance and actual running balance. In the second row, write starting balance and merge and center these cells. In cells K2 and L2, write down the value of starting balance, let's say $1,000. In cells 3A, enter the query formula in order to bring the entries from income, expenses and savings sheets automatically. In cell K3, enter the formula which adds the starting balance into planned income and subtract planned expenses and savings from it. This gives a planned running balance. Drag it down to the cells below. In the cells L3, enter the formula which adds the starting balance into actual income and subtracts actual expenses and savings from it. This gives actual running balance. Drag it down to the cells below. We can add visual representation for the starting and ending balance by adding spark lines. Set the format of cells. The formula for starting balance use is blank and if functions and take value from cell L2, whereas the formula for ending balance adds starting balance to the total actual income and subtracts total actual expenses and total actual savings from it. The formula used for sparkline for both starting balance and ending balance can be copied. We will also add the percentage increase in the running balance and monthly savings. The formula for percentage increase in the balance divides to ending balance with the starting balance and subtracts 1 from it. The formula for monthly savings subtracts the ending balance from the starting balance. For the value of percent decrease in balance, we will change its format to percentage. This is what the final spreadsheet looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please download the sheet, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Thank you and we will see you later.